So in this video, we're going to look at modeling dividing fractions again and looking at it in a little different perspective. So there's lots of different ways to model. Particularly, it depends if you're going to model whole numbers divided by a fraction divided by whole numbers, or fractions divided by fractions. Some methods work better depending on which situation that you're doing. Today, we're going to look at using just one method for all three types. These aren't the only way, or even necessarily the best way to model division, but it is one method that you could use for all types of dividing fraction problems. And I'm hoping that having just one method might help some of you. So our steps for modeling. The first thing you want to do is make your boxes. We're going to look at the two denominators to determine what size to make the boxes. So for example, if I have 2/3 divided by 1/4, 3 and 4 are the denominators, so the boxes should be 3 by 4. It doesn't really matter if they're 3 across and 4 high, or 3 high and 4 across, as long as they're 3 by 4. So you can see here, we've got a 3 by 4 divided by a 3 by 4. Now we're going to shade the boxes to represent the fraction. So the first fraction is 2/3. So we want to shade 2/3 of this. You can see here 2 out of the 3 rows are shaded. And in the other box we want to shade 1/4. So 1 of the 4 columns. So I think everybody can look at that and see that that is 2/3 divided by 1/4. Then we're going to count the number of shaded parts in each box. The left side is going to be the numerator of our answer, and the number on the right is going to be the denominator of our answer. So if we look at this first box, we have 2, 4, 6, 8 shaded boxes. If we look at the divisor's got 3 shaded boxes. So that means that our answer is going to be 8/3, or 2 2/3. It's saying how many of these fit into here. Well, there's 3. So 1, 2, 3, that's 1. 1, 2, 3, that's another. And then I've got 2 out of the 3 left. So make your boxes. Use the denominators to tell you how big to make the boxes. Shade the boxes to represent your fractions. And then count the number of shaded parts in each of the boxes. So looking at another example, let's say we wanted to model 3/5 divided by 2/3. So the first thing we have to do is decide how big are the boxes going to be. So look at our two denominators. We've got 5 and 3. So our boxes are going to be 3 by 5 or 5 by 3. It doesn't matter which way they're turned. You can see these are 3 by 5. Then we want to shade to model the fraction. So this is 3/5. So I'm going to look at, I've got 5 rows. I'm going to shade 3 of the 5. And over here, I want to model 2/3. Well, I've got 3 columns, so I'm going to shade 2 out of the 3 columns. So now you can see that I've got 3/5 divided by 2/3. Now that I have the fractions modeled, I need to count how many shaded parts are in this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And how many shaded parts are in this one? We're going to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So that means 3/5 divided by 2/3 is 9/10, or 9/10. And if you think about it, how many times can 10 go into 9? Well, 10 doesn't fit into 9 even once. It's going to be less than 1. It's going to be 9/10. So we've looked at 2 examples where we did fraction divided by fraction. Let's look now at a whole number divided by a fraction. So we've got 3 divided by 2/5. So what are our denominators so that we know how big to make our boxes? Well, some of you might say there's no denominator here, but this could be a 1, right? 3 over 1, so 1 and 5. So I need to make my boxes 1 by 5 or 5 by 1. So in this case, I've actually made 3 of the 5 by 1 boxes because I have 3 holes. And over here I have 1 of the 1 by 5s. So 3 holes, that would be all of this, and all of this. On this side, I want 2 out of the 5, so there are 2 out of the 5. So I've made my boxes. I've shaded them in to represent the numbers that are in the division statement. This represents 3. This represents 2/5. Now it's time to count the boxes. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15. So on this side I have 15, and on this side I have 2. So that means that 3 divided by 2/5 is going to be 15 over 2. And 2 can go into 15 7 times, and I would have 1 left over. So 7 and 1/2. Again, there's other ways you could model this. Some of them might be easier because we're dealing with a whole number, but this way will definitely work. It's saying how many of these 2's can I fit into these 15? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a half left over. So we have done fractions divided by fractions. We did a whole number divided by a fraction. Now let's do a fraction divided by a whole number. So if we look at 3/4 divided by 2, say there's 3/4 of a cake left and you want to divide it between 2 people. Well, first off, we have to figure out how big to make the boxes. How big should the boxes be? Look at the denominators. 4 and 1. So that means that I need to make my boxes 4 by 1. Here's my box for my 3/4, and since I had 2 holes, I made 2 boxes here on this side. What's the next step that I'm going to do? Yep, the next step is that I'm going to shade. Here is my 3/4. There's 3 out of the 4. And 2, that means this whole one and this whole one are shaded in. One last thing to do, let's count up. How many shaded do we have? 1, 2, 3. How many shaded do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that means 3/4 divided by 2 is 3/8. This 8 doesn't fit into the 3 evenly. It's going to go less than 1, and it's going to be 3/8. So I hope that helps you with models. Like I said, there are other ways to model. Honestly, that's probably not the method I would choose to do that one, but it does work. And this is a way that you can use one method to do all of your modeling. If you understand modeling and you want to use a different method, that is totally fine. I just want to show you that you could use this one method 3 different ways. Hope you're better with modeling now. Remember, just make the boxes, look at the 2 denominators to determine how big to make the boxes, shade the boxes to represent the fraction, and then count the number of shaded parts in each box. The left side is the numerator, the right side is going to be your denominator.